All rise. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. This United States District Court for the Southern District of Ohio is now in special session. Please draw near and give your attention. God save the United States and this honorable court, Chief District Judge Algernon L. Marbley presiding. Please recognize Chief Judge Algernon L. Marbley, Judge Edmund A. Sargis Jr., Judge Michael H. Watson, Judge Sarah D. Morrison, Magistrate Judge Elizabeth A. Preston Devers. Please be seated.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this special session of the United States District Court for the Southern District of Ohio. As Mr. Nagel, our clerk of court, just advised, my name is Algernon Marbley, and I am the Chief Judge of this district court, and I am one of 5 district judges who sit in this particular seat of court. I am joined today by my dear friends and colleagues, Judge Edmund A. Sargis Jr., Judge Michael Watson, Judge Sarah Morrison, and Judge Elizabeth Preston Devers. Court is in session this afternoon for the very important purpose of considering petitions for citizenship through naturalization. In my role as a district judge, there is no task more enjoyable than that of presiding at a naturalization ceremony. Before we begin, I want to extend a very warm welcome to each of the petitioners for citizenship and to the friends and family who are joining us online. I would also like to welcome my dear friend, the 16th president of The Ohio State University, Dr. Christina Johnson, who will offer our welcome remarks before the presentation of the candidates. I would also like to thank Senior Vice President Melissa Shivers of the Office of Student Life and the International Student Council for hosting us here today. The Archie Griffin Ballroom at The Ohio State University Student Center is the fitting venue for this ceremony, as 12 judges who sit in the Southern District of Ohio, including district judges, magistrate judges, and bankruptcy judges, received, Dr. Johnson, at least 1 degree from The Ohio State University. Judges Watson, Judges Morrison, and Judge Devers received their bachelor's degrees from Ohio State before going on to law school, while Judge Sargis and I teach at the Moritz College of Law here at Ohio State. I am also pleased to welcome Chloe Green from Senator Rob Portman's office and John Brookman from Senator Sherrod Brown's office, who will give greetings shortly in this proceeding. From the Department of Homeland Security, Citizenship and Immigration Services, we have Columbus Field Officer Director Jesse Lee Santos Kreider. Let me also take a moment to introduce the court personnel here today. As I've already indicated, Rich Nagel, our clerk of court, is here today, and he gavelled this proceeding to begin a moment ago, and he will also soon administer the oath of allegiance to our citizens. We are also joined by someone whom you've come to know and love, our deputy clerk, Mr. Donald Fitzgerald, who is the clerk in charge of naturalization. Don is in the back. Throughout the year, our court conducts several ceremonies of this kind outside of the courthouses in an effort to share this unique experience with our community. Today, we are pleased to hold court at The Ohio State University. So, at this time, I would like to introduce our guest speaker, who is well connected to the university, the 16th president, President Christina M. Johnson. She joined OSU in the fall of 2020. She joined in part because she was absolutely the best candidate to lead this great land-grant university. But she also had a personal reason and a personal desire to become a part of the history of this great university. You see, her grandfather graduated in the class of 1896 from The Ohio State University, where he played on the football team. President Johnson had been chancellor of the State University of New York system from 2017 until 2020. Born in St. Louis and raised in Denver, President Johnson received her undergraduate, master's, and PhD from Stanford in electrical engineering. She has over 100 patents in her name. She has served as a professor of electrical and computer engineering. She has served as provost at the Johns Hopkins University, and she was the dean of the School of Engineering at Duke University. In 2009, President Obama appointed President Johnson as undersecretary in the Department of Department of Energy. Since joining Ohio State, Dr. Johnson has been focused on enhancing the university's excellence in 5 strategic areas: academics, research, service and clinical care, talent and culture, and operations consistent with OSU's land-grant university mission. Over the span of her professional career, Dr. Johnson has received numerous awards and personal recognitions, too numerous to detail at this time. She is also the recipient of 5 honorary doctorate degrees from the University of Alabama, from Tufts University, from Trinity College in Dublin, Ireland, from McGill University in Canada, and the National University of Ireland, Galway. It is now my honor and privilege to introduce this outstanding leader and my dear friend, Dr. Christina Johnson.
Thank you, Judge Marbley. And our distinguished judges, thank you for being here for this outstanding ceremony. And congratulations to the news group of citizens of the United States of America. This is an incredibly special day, both for you and our country, and it's my great honor to join you in marking this occasion. I want to thank Judge Marbley for inviting me to participate and for presiding over this wonderful ceremony. I want to recognize the incredible paths that each of you have traveled to arrive at this moment and the support you received from your loved ones, friends, and even strangers along the way, hopefully some of which are with you today. The steps you've walked are your own. Yet there was someone cheering you and your progress that made that trail a little easier. I'd also like to acknowledge the laws and the systems that opened a pathway to citizenship to you in the first place. As imperfect as they may be, their existence at all is a recognition by this nation that you will make us better. The great thing, too, is that you'll have the opportunity to weigh in through the ballot box on how to make that experience better for those who will surely follow you. As Judge Marbley said in his introduction of me, I am the president of The Ohio State University. Our school educates 65,000 students on 6 campuses across the state, pursuing associate's degrees, bachelor's degrees, master's, and doctoral degrees in hundreds of fields. We create opportunities for people. We produce the research that changes lives and saves them. And through our extension service, which has offices in each of Ohio's 88 counties, we help farmers and gardeners, small business owners, and local leaders forge healthier and more prosperous communities. Our call to serve is enshrined in our university motto, education for citizenship. On the surface, these words might be taken to reflect an experience much like the ones you experienced that got you here. We study history, you studied laws, limitations and obligations, you passed a test, you swear your allegiance, and you earn the right to call yourself citizens. Yet to those of us at Ohio State and to many across our nation, learning is a lifelong endeavor. That means citizenship is less an achievement. It's more a constant pursuit. It's not a destination. It's a journey. Yes, being a citizen of the United States affords you all the rights outlined under the U.S. Constitution and established through years of legal precedent. It also demands from each of us a commitment to realize more fully the lofty goals of our founding. And as we approach the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence that brought the United States into being, we need your commitment more than ever. While civil disagreement is a foundational part of American politics and essential to any democracy, our nation is increasingly becoming divided and distrustful. According to the Pew Research Center, public trust in scientists, the military, police officers, journalists, and education and business leaders is trending downward compared to before the coronavirus pandemic. And astonishingly, 49% of Americans don't believe that people in general are as reliable as they used to be. At the same time, we are less and less likely to share our experiences with one another. Membership in religious and civic organizations, fraternal societies, and other local associations is on the decline. We get our news from different stations or from our social feeds programmed to show us not what we need to see, but what we want to share. And we increasingly live in neighborhoods with others who vote like us, look like us, and work like us. All of this is eroding our ability to come together as one people to solve shared challenges, to work together to the aspiration written in the Constitution's preamble, to form a more perfect union. I tell you this not to darken the promise of your future as Americans, but to call you to action because we need your help. You see, it is often multiple and diverse perspectives that we need to identify all that we have in common and point out the luxury that it is to disagree in the ways that we do. In addition to your insight and energy, I believe that education, in its broadest possible sense, holds the key for forging one nation out of the 331 million people who call this country home. We must commit ourselves to learning, recommit ourselves to learning even, about ourselves and each other, about the shortcomings of our history, about our ability to craft a different and more inclusive future. I encourage you to learn more about this great nation from the statesmen and women who had led it to the laborers and farmers who built and fed it since our founding. I encourage you to get to know people who are different from you. Having knowledge of and respect for those we do not agree with can have a profound impact on how we operate in this world. I encourage you to explore, and that doesn't have to mean physical travel. Central Ohio is full of institutions that can expand our horizons, from local libraries to world-class institutions like the Columbus Museum of Art, the Ohio History Center, our Center for Science and Industry, or COSI, and of course, Ohio State. I encourage you to vote. Of all the responsibilities we citizens have to engage and improve our society, the most foundational is to cast our ballot on each election day or during early voting. Remember, too, that every election matters. We only see television ads for state and national level races, but every election and issue can have a huge impact on your life and the lives of your family members, from city council members to school boards to tax levies and constitutional amendments. And please do all you can to come to your own conclusions about who and what to vote for. Your research and your consideration of the issues are so important when you cast that ballot. My wife, Veronica, is from Venezuela. I remember her nationalization ceremony in April of, I believe, 2016. It was a proud moment for Veronica and myself as we sat where you sit today and wonder, when is the featured speaker going to stop? Again, I congratulate each of you on this wonderful day, and thank you for all the energy you have dedicated to our country thus far. It is surely a better place because of you. Former U.S. President and Nobel Peace recipient Jimmy Carter once said of America, and I quote, "We have become not a melting pot, but a beautiful mosaic. Different people, different beliefs, different yearnings, different hopes, different dreams. It's these differences, leveraged and overcome to productive ends, that has always allowed the American nation to grow into the extraordinary country we know today. We may not yet be that perfect union we aim to become, but we're committed to getting there, and I'm so grateful for your help. Thank you and congratulations."
Thank you so much, Dr. Johnson, for those kind, insightful, and thoughtful words that we hope you will take home with you when you leave. Dr. Johnson had, as you can appreciate, some other matters, so she had to depart. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, we are a nation of immigrants. The vast majority of our citizens are either immigrants or descendants of immigrants. And the process of welcoming new citizens through naturalization has been in place since the founding of our country. For more on this long-standing tradition, I turn this over to my friend and colleague and the court's resident historian, Judge Edward A. Sargas, Jr. Judge?
Thank you, Chief. And again, good morning to all of you. I'm delighted to be part of this memorable ceremony as you all become American citizens. In our very first article of the Constitution, Congress is given the power to establish what is there called a uniform rule of naturalization, the process all of you are about to complete. So as our Constitution was adopted, many of the people who wrote the document and many of the people who had recently served in the Revolutionary War were not themselves born in this country. So from the very beginning of our country's history, citizenship has never been limited to those born in this country, but instead our Constitution wisely provides for this process all of you are about to complete. As Dr. Johnson mentioned, in the words of Jimmy Carter, at one time, 100 years ago or more, some people described America as a melting pot in which all of us from across the globe with different religions, different foods, different languages would somehow blend together into one great American culture. I think today we see ourselves a bit differently, not as a country in which we all become the same, but more like a fine mosaic or a fine painting where each new group into our country provides some new shade, some new color, some new definition, all of which combines to make the mosaic that much the better. We have a national emblem, and on the emblem are the Latin words e pluribus unum, meaning in English, out of many comes one. And that's the very process that all of you are now part of. In just a moment, you'll also take an oath of allegiance to the United States of America. And I know you've read this before, but as you see the words, you are fundamentally swearing loyalty to one thing, not a political party, not an ethnic group, nothing like that. You're swearing loyalty that you will defend and support the Constitution of the United States. In Article 6 of our Constitution, every public official, from the President of the United States to a federal district judge to a city council member, must take a similar kind of oath, pledging loyalty to the Constitution before any person can assume any type of public office in America. That's the welcome we give you, the guarantees of our Constitution. I want to welcome you to citizenship. I welcome you as a judge of this court. I also welcome you as the grandson of both Lebanese and Irish immigrants. Congratulations.
At this time, I'm going to turn to Magistrate Judge Elizabeth Preston Devers.
Thank you, Chief. I too welcome you and am delighted to participate in these proceedings today. Today we welcome 395 petitioners from 76 different nations around the world. Today is your day, a celebration of 395 citizens who come from different lands around the world. The youngest is 18 years of age and the oldest is 82. That means that some of you came to America as children, holding tightly to your parents' hands as you arrived in a new world. And some of you came as adults, leaving behind everything you had in pursuit of a new life. And while your stories are your own, all of you together represent a mixture of talents and cultures that have strengthened our country for hundreds of years. As you are about to become new American citizens, you will add new vigor and vitality to our nation. As our newest citizens, you remind us of how precious our citizenship is and why it's worth protecting. As was stated by the great American author Ralph Ellison, America is woven of many strands. I would recognize and let them so remain. Our fate is to become one and yet many. This is not prophecy, but description. As has been mentioned, we are, of course, a nation of immigrants, and with very few exceptions, every person in the United States is an immigrant or descended from immigrants. Our nation has been and will continue to be enriched by the hard work and the talents and the diversification brought by cultures and from persons from other lands around the world. This country was founded on one very simple notion: we're not all here yet. More people and more perspectives give us better ideas. Immigration is and always has been an added value in this country. And today we celebrate the common spirit that lives within each of you, a spirit that has strengthened America for almost 250 years. This naturalization hearing is therefore a very important occasion for all of us, not only for those who are about to become citizens of the United States, but for those of us who by birth or prior naturalization are citizens. It gives us the opportunity to welcome as fellow citizens persons who can contribute to a renewal process. Persons who as citizens will join their voices with all other citizens in determining the future course of this nation. The nation needs you and the nation welcomes you. To conduct today's proceedings, I'll yield now to my colleague, Judge Morrison.
Thank you, and congratulations as well, and it's nice to see all of you. I have to tell you, this is one of my favorite duties as a district court judge, so I'm very pleased to be here. And now, to present today's candidates for naturalization, it gives me great pleasure to call upon Citizenship and Immigration Services Columbus Field Office Director, Jesse Lee Santos-Kreider.
Your Honor, the Citizenship and Immigration Services has a group of petitioners for naturalization to present to the court today.
The court understands that an officer of the Citizenship and Immigration Service has examined each of these petitioners who are present as required by law to determine their qualifications for the United States citizenship. Is it true that each of these petitioners here present has been so examined and qualified?
Your Honor, I am pleased to advise that each of the petitioners present here in court today has been examined in accordance with the law and is qualified in all respects to be granted United States citizenship.
Well, then, in view of the statement of the naturalization officer, the court will waive any examination of these petitioners in open court. Officer, do you have a recommendation to make to the court for admission of the petitioners here present for United States citizenship?
Your Honor, I am pleased to recommend the petitioners present for admission to United States citizenship.
Upon consideration of the petitions for naturalization of those here present, the statement of the immigration officer that each of the petitioners here present has been given a preliminary examination and has been found to be qualified, and the recommendation of the immigration officer, and in consideration of the fact that each of the petitioners is present at this final hearing held in the court on the 19th day of October, 2022, the petitions of those present are granted. It is hereby ordered that each of such petitioners here present be, and that he or she is, hereby admitted to become a citizen of the United States of America upon the taking of the oath of allegiance. Mr. Nagel, will you now administer the oath of allegiance to the United States of America?
Will all petitioners please stand and raise your right hand? Each of you do hereby declare that you absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state, or sovereignty of which or whom you have heretofore been a subject or citizen, that you will support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that you will bear arms on behalf of the United States when required by law, or perform non-combatant service in the armed forces of the United States when required by law, or perform work of national importance under civilian direction when required by law, that you take this obligation freely, without mental reservation or purpose of evasion, so help you God. If so, please say, I do. Please be seated.
Congratulations, what a happy day. I'm now going to hand the microphone over to my colleague, Judge Michael H. Watson, to give some more congratulatory remarks.
Well, before we hear from Judge Watson, we have greetings from Senators Brown and Portman. We have Mr. Joe Berkman from Senator Brown's office.
I would like to congratulate each and every one of you on becoming an American citizen today. This day is the culmination of a long journey for you and for your families. It isn't just a ceremony, it's a celebration, and I'm honored to represent Senator Brown and be a part of it. We are a nation of immigrants. People of all backgrounds from every corner of the world have enriched our state and our country throughout our history. All of you here today embody one of our nation's greatest strengths, an unflinching belief that tomorrow can be better than today. You came to this country in search of a better life, in pursuit of opportunity for yourselves and for your families. And your diversity, your bravery, and your dedication help make our country and make Ohio a better place. It's not where you come from that makes you an American. It's your commitment to our country. You are citizens now, and that citizenship gives you many rights. It also gives you many responsibilities and a voice in our democracy. I encourage you all to exercise your new rights and opportunities as an American citizen, including registering to vote. I would also like you to know if at any point along the road you need assistance with a federal agency, Senator Brown's office is here to help. Don't hesitate to reach out to us. Again, I would like to congratulate all of you and welcome you home. Thank you.
Mr. Berkman, we'll now hear from Ms. Chloe Green from Senator Rob Portman's office.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for letting me join you today on behalf of Senator Portman. He's sorry that he couldn't be here to congratulate you himself, but he sent me with a few words. Congratulations on becoming a United States citizen. You now enjoy the opportunity to participate fully in the democratic process of our great country. The United States has benefited from the contributions of immigrants since its founding more than 200 years ago, and I am certain that you, as our newest citizens, will continue this legacy. Generations of Americans have paid a high price to ensure that we all continue to have the unique rights and privileges that we cherish and enjoy today, which you now share with us. The people of Ohio come from diverse backgrounds with various religious values and cultural traditions, but we share a strong work ethic, strong family values, and volunteerism. I encourage you to continue to learn as much as you can about the history of our great state and country as a valued part of our nation. Your contributions will ensure the success of the United States for years to come. And again, I would like to congratulate each and every one of you. It is truly an honor to welcome you to this nation filled with opportunity and prosperity. This is truly an accomplishment that you should be proud of and that you should cherish forever. I wish you the very best on this very special day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Green. It gives me a great pleasure now to turn the proceedings over to my dear friend and colleague, Judge Michael Watson, also a Buckeye.
Thank you, Judge Marbley. You like the tie? There we go. Okay. Everybody else has said pretty much what I'm going to say to you, but I'm going to say it in my own way. So congratulations. I've never attended a naturalization with this many people, 76 different countries that you come from. I hope you will share your experiences with your fellow citizens, with your neighbors, so that they will understand where you've come from, and perhaps you can teach them something about things that perhaps we have forgotten. On behalf of the court, I want to congratulate all of you on becoming United States citizens. Citizenship is a status that those of us born in this country cherish, but because we become citizens by accident of birth, we often take it for granted. Citizenship is also one of the most significant privileges that we can bestow upon persons who are born abroad, who've come to live in this country. Citizenship will entitle you to the freedoms that are the hallmark of our democracy, our system of governance, the freedom to speak out on the issues of the day, the freedom to worship as one chooses, the freedom to associate with persons of your choosing. The essence of freedom, however, is responsibility. With those freedoms, we enjoy the responsibility to participate in our democracy, to keep it strong. And the most fundamental way to participate in our democracy is to vote. Is there anybody here who isn't pleased about the fact that now that you're citizens, you're going to have the right to vote in this country? I didn't think so. So, we who have the right to vote in this country by accident of birth don't exercise that right at a high enough rate. Perhaps you can teach your neighbors about that by going out and voting when you have the opportunity to do so. While it's important that you exercise your right to vote, it's equally important that you cast an informed vote. Merely to vote is not enough. In order to have an effective democracy, we must have an informed democracy of informed citizens. Make your vote be your voice on how your new country should be governed. Each of you brings something unique and special to our democracy. Your life experiences, your diverse cultural background can add in a positive way to the richness of our democracy. Only if you participate, however, can the lessons of your past benefit America's future. As we celebrate this milestone in your lives, I ask that you join me in standing for the national anthem, performed today by the Ohio State University Athletic Band. Lorena Joe, Chair of the International Student Council, The Ohio State University, will come and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good morning, everyone. I want to congratulate each of you for being sworn into U.S. citizenship. My name is Lorena Zhou, a senior study at The Ohio State University, serving as the chair of the International Student Council. As an international student, I came to the United States 3 years ago for the top-tier education. However, the experience went beyond college education. I encountered the language barriers, the cultural difference, and the social isolations, etc. It was a transformation experience that taught who I am and who I want to be. The lifelong friendships I fostered here, the cities and cultures I explored here, the academic difficulties I overcame here, and the music we just enjoyed here are all becoming the valuable part of my connection with the United States. I understand your efforts that put you in today's positions. An immigration experience was never an easy one. It is a community full of hopes, and you are the brave ones breaking the barriers and joining the community with the new hopes. As the Hamilton line says, immigrants, we get the job done. Opportunities await. The limit depends on how we define it for ourselves. Congratulations, new citizens. Everyone, please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you, Judge Watson. A special thanks to the Ohio State University Athletic Band. And of course, again, thank you very much, Ms. Joe, for not only your kind remarks and your wonderful remarks and the remarks that you gave that give us some insight into your narrative, which we hope will be the narrative of many of our new citizens. As you leave today, you will have all of you will have an opportunity to fill out the voter registration forms if you have not already. And consistent with what President Johnson said and what all of our judges have said, please do so. And please remember the important role you now play in the future of your country. Thank you all for joining us today. As Judge Sargas admonished me to advise you as we leave, welcome home. Mr. Nagel, would you please adjourn court?
All rise. This special session of the United States District Court for the Southern District of Ohio is now adjourned.